The medium itself is like kind of buggy and runs kind of badly even on the Series X. It's the first exclusive to the new set of consoles, the Series is, and on PC too. PC too. Pretty big improvement.
When are they going to get around to that?
Yeah.
It's been decades now.
Yeah.
That's okay. That joke's been done on the internet, man. Have a scroll from time to time.
Trying to not.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
I'm deleting apps one by one off the phone. Feels great.
When's Xbox going to take my wife, please? When that's going to happen? There's like it runs at 30. It kind of hitches up every now and again on the Xbox, and there's a weird glitch that makes the game look exactly like it would look if your video card was dying.
Yeah,
like little
right.
colorful things pop up. But
I've noticed pop in and stuff like that. Not so much glitches, but I have noticed some texture.
There's a lot of that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But it's a lower budget game.
Yes.
Made by the same people who did like Layers of Fear and some other games that I never got around to playing.
Yep.
But were considered like sort of underground horror like relatively good.
Yeah. Bloober is the company.
Bloober.
They're a Polish game studio. What have they done? They've done, a bunch of stuff that I have never heard of. Layers of Fear was 2016. Observer was quite popular.
Right, yeah.
And the Blair Witch game from 2019.
Right, so some sort of B-horror games. So this is probably their biggest one. And I tell you what, I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, me too.
It's like a Resident Evil style kind of set camera, walk around an environment, but it is just an adventure game. Mm-hmm. It's puzzles and looking around a spooky area.
Yeah.
With occasional chasing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It seems to be story focused.
Yeah.
Or story / exploration focused, I guess.
Yeah.
And what that means in practice is a very beautiful cinematic game where they've thought about those angles, those fixed angles. They've thought about the way that this next area is going to reveal itself to you. Like a lot of beautiful things looming out of the shadows, great framing of shots. Like it looks awesome. I did not expect that because, I think what I'd heard about it was this is not a AAA game and some people had some average responses to the launch, but I think it's great so far.
I'm really enjoying the story. It's well acted by the main character especially, who is pretty much the one who's talking all the time. You meet some other characters along the way, and all of them are being done well. But the story is that she's a medium. She can talk to dead people.
Is she the medium or just a medium?
She's a medium in the world, I would assume, but the medium in this story. And I believe she's the only medium that she knows about from the beginning. But you sort of get a bit of a setup where it's like she used to work at this funeral home with her like adoptive father and knew she had these powers and would help people move on. So it was a good job for her to have working in a funeral home because she would be able to help people get out of this spirit world thing.
Your dead grandma said, "Get the fuck over it, cunt."
Yes.
More the other way around. It's not helping the alive people move on. It's helping the spirits move on.
Okay.
So it's like,
it's
hey,
the
dead
Sixth
grandma, your kids said move on.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the
Give
Sixth
'em-
Sense, right? But you play an adult rather than a young boy named Haley Joel Osment.
Yeah, so it could be better, but the main part of the gameplay is like walking around these environments where you're either doing kind of a split screen thing where you're walking through the exact same room, but in one version it's the real world and in one version it's like this spirit world and kind of solving puzzles by interacting with the two different worlds. And then later on you switch between them, and it does all those sort of things with the idea of having two different worlds to make interact with each other.
Right. And that's kind of the big thing that makes it a next gen, like why it's exclusive to the series is that it's the fast swapping between the two kind of different environments, right?
Yeah, other than the textures all popping in like crazy when it happens, it is seamless.
Yeah.
and when it is running them both in split screen, it's really effective because you'll like be talking to these ghosts and seeing the real world version of it and the spirit world version where you have these pretty good designs of these ghosts.
Well, also the environment, like there's a lot of stuff that's done really well in terms of like, this is clearly a metaphor for this, right? Like the spirit world thing, it's like, there's a lamp over there, but the lamp isn't lit, so I've got to go find a way to turn it on. And maybe in the spirit world, it's like getting a light energy from a being that's not there anymore, putting it into this other light thing, and then it's like, the lamp switched on in the real world.
And you're finding these like little cracks in objects that give you flashbacks to things that happened in the past. And solving puzzles based on that, trying to figure out people's name because you need their name to get them to move on. So you'll go into a room where there's a bunch of chairs, and there's a list of all the people and what chairs they were sitting on, and you have to figure out based on that which person was sitting in which chair.
Right.
That type of thing.
Right.
Yep.
It kind of can be a bit annoying when it has that puzzle game thing of like you might have come up with the answer already, but you have to go through the motions the game wants you to.
Yes.
Yeah,
click
right.
on this chair to get it to say, okay, so if Johnny was sitting in this chair, then
That's
that
true,
means.
yeah.
But they are fun, and the atmosphere is so good and so like kind of unique. It's like this rundown old holiday facility in the Polish wilderness, and then the design of the spirit world I think is really nice.
Yeah.
So it's looking great, feeling great, and then you come across at some point in the story early on this monster thing. And it's a really, really good monster. It's creepy. It's saying all this shit about like, I just want to try you on. And like giving you these creepy things it's saying. It's Troy Baker doing the voice.
Yep.
You know, I've never heard of him before. But he's a young upstart who's giving it a go. And I think he's doing a good job. But like good, creepy, chase you around video game monster where there's some sort of stealth sections that aren't too bad where you're hiding from this guy.
Right.
Yep.
The story is just really engaging, just a fun mystery with lots of the little notes left around for you to, you know, piece together what's going on. A big, awful, like you go to this facility, you get called there by some guy, you go there and she's like, I heard a rumor that this place was the site of a massacre, but I don't know if I believe it. Then you go inside and there's all these bloodstains. You're like, oh, yeah, okay. I guess it did happen.
Yeah, and I think so. We all have played Resident Evil 7 to some extent, and I am enjoying it. But it is in some ways difficult for me because there are combat sections, or there's like runaway sections and stuff like that. And for me, it's detracting from the atmosphere and the exploration because, half the time I'm just like, well, fuck, someone's going to jump out at me here.
Yeah.
But whereas this game so far, I'm reveling in the atmosphere because it is seemingly, to this point, about the atmosphere. It's about taking in the beautiful surroundings and like coming over the crest of a hill and seeing this crazy like Soviet style, you know, holiday resort with half the letters falling off and it's like, oh, this looks sick. I'm excited to explore it. And I totally agree. The storytelling is great. It's very engaging. And like right now, I'm sitting here going, I can't wait to go back and see what happens next.
Same.
Yeah.
The way it's unraveling this mystery as it goes on is really engaging for me as well. And it doesn't have traditional survival horror type combat. There are bits where you're being stealthy and there are bits where you're running away actively, but they're quite fun and they're not frustrating in the way that survival horror combat can be. If you're like overwhelmed by fear from it and then trying to shoot, I think the way that it does the horror and the suspense in this game is very effective and done with like a pretty deft kind of middle ground, almost like a medium point between being scary and suspenseful, you know? And it's cool seeing those split screens, and when you're interacting with the ghost in the spirit world, you'll give them a ball and then you see the ball just floating in the real world.
Yeah.
Oh, yep.
You know, it works super well. And it's a very video gamey thing because you can just plug that same animation into two models and have it work rather than a film thing where it'd look a bit different or it'd look a bit weird. It
when it's split screen, you can like click to focus on one or focus on the other. And I mean, I'm playing on a high-end PC, and for me, that is seamless. It's working really, really smoothly. It's really impressive.
Yeah, it works well on the Series X too, but you can just tell that and the studio have said, Bloober have said, like, there's a couple patches coming.
Right.
There's just bits and pieces that aren't quite polished, but they are polished.
Oh, and now that is a joke I've never heard on the internet.
Take my wife.
Having read about CD Projekt Red recently.
Take my wife. She wants to leave me because of that joke.
But I really hope this is a game that people don't overlook. I've seen, middling reviews, and I don't understand why, personally.
No, I think it's doing exactly like it's a decent story unfolding well with engaging enough puzzles that and it's the fact that it's on Game Pass and it's free.
Yeah.
It really does help you just settle into a game and not question whether or not you're enjoying it.
And if you've got the Series X, this is the first exclusive for it. So why wouldn't you give it a go?
Yeah. I'm a fan.
Yes, I think maybe people expect it to be like a Silent Hill or a Resident Evil where there's some combat and some ammo conservation and shit like that.
No.
Don't go in with that expectation.
Adventure game.
It's an adventure game with a good story.
This is Monkey Island, but scary.
Yeah. And opening in the funeral home, it's beautiful. Like the graphics of that, and we don't talk enough about how we rate the graphics out of 10 on this show.
Yeah, okay. We need to start doing that.
Yeah. It's genuinely incredible. I think the attention to detail, the design, the fucking interior decorating of that place is incredible. It's,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, genuinely incredible, 9, 10.
Yes. Yes.
The tone and stuff of the story as well, and how it's being conveyed in the visuals, like it's all being done super well. Get onto the medium. The medium is a game that's anything but.
Wow.
Getting up to the higher end. It's upper medium. Anything.
It sounds like the sort of thing I'd really like. Oh well.
Yeah. It's funny that for as much as they were saying like, things will be on the Xbox One for a couple years still. Well, it was 2 months.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact.
Yeah.
But
and it's fair enough because like we've seen cross-gen games that can't run on the old consoles.
No.
And they shouldn't.
It's time to move on.
Yeah.
That's what I said in this game and in real life to my Xbox One.
Yeah.
And it seems like the kind of thing that just technically wouldn't be possible on.
Maybe. I'm not
to some
sure.
extent,
I'm not a computer. I can't
Anyway,
tell you that.
it is time to move on to the next game we're going to discuss today.